Imagine this. You've been married for over a decade. You trust your husband, you trust your best friend. But what if one day you discover they've been trusting each other behind your back? In a quiet town in North Carolina, a seemingly perfect marriage was torn apart by betrayal. The husband, the wife, and the best friend she'd known since college. What started as innocent dinners and shared jokes would soon ignite into an affair filled with secrets, lies, and finally, blood. This is not a movie. This is a true story, and by the end of it, one of them would end up dead. So buckle up, because this story is about to take you deep into the twisted heart of jealousy, lust, and murder. And then there was Emily, Sarah's best friend since college, the godmother to their children, the woman who had stood beside her on her wedding day, holding her bouquet and whispering, "You got this." After her messy divorce, Emily moved into a rental just 5 minutes from the Whitmores. Sarah was thrilled. They could have wine nights again, movie marathons, Sunday brunches. What Sarah didn't expect was how close Mark and Emily would get. At first, it was harmless. Emily helped Mark decorate his new office. Mark fixed her leaking sink. They laughed a lot, a little too much. Sarah noticed, but she brushed it off. They're like siblings, she told herself. Until one day she came home early from a school field trip. Emily's car was in the driveway. Mark said he was working from home. The house was quiet, too quiet. She walked in, and what she saw in the living room shattered her world. Mark, Emily, and a betrayal she would never forget. In a flash, 12 years of marriage unraveled. Sarah's vision blurred as she dropped her purse to the floor. Her heart thundered in her ears. Every photo on the wall, every memory etched in their home, now felt like a cruel joke. Emily, always the composed one, stood up, fixing her hair, avoiding Sarah's gaze. "We didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered. Mark reached towards Sarah, guilt contorting his face. It was a mistake. But Sarah didn't see regret. She saw betrayal by the two people she trusted most. She didn't scream, not at first. She laughed, a sharp, cold, bitter sound that cut through the tension like a razor. Then came the shouting, accusations, tears, words they could never take back. That night, Sarah packed a suitcase for her and the kids and drove to her sister's house. Mark called, begged, left voicemails. Emily sent long texts filled with apologies, but Sarah went silent. The next morning, she filed for divorce. The story spread like wildfire through their quiet North Carolina neighborhood. Friends were divided. Some blamed Emily, some blamed Mark. Most just watched the drama unfold from behind blinds. But 2 weeks later, things took a darker turn. Sarah returned to her car after grocery shopping to find a folded piece of paper under her windshield wiper. No envelope, just a message, printed in capital letters. "Back off or someone gets hurt." There were no fingerprints, no cameras nearby, no clue who sent it. Sarah showed it to the police. They called it a prank, but she knew better. It wasn't a prank, it was a warning. And whoever sent it meant every word. "Caller, there's been a shooting. Someone's been shot. Please hurry." The call came from Emily's townhouse. When officers arrived, they found her on the floor, near the foot of her staircase. One bullet to the chest, blood soaked into the carpet. The glass of red wine spilled near her hand, still slowly dripping. Mark was on his knees beside her, trembling, muttering the same words over and over. "I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to." The gun, his registered Glock, lay on the kitchen counter. One shot fired. He was taken into custody, barely coherent. At the station, his story was chaotic. He claimed Emily had been depressed, unstable, and had found the gun in his bag when he came over. He said she was drinking heavily, yelling at him, accusing him of ruining her life. She grabbed the gun. "I tried to take it from her. It went off," he insisted. But the physical evidence told a different story. No fingerprints, but marks. No blood spatter on Emily's hands. No sign of a struggle in the living room. And then there was the footage. Security video from a neighbor's Ring camera. It showed Mark arriving at 7:56 p.m., wine bottle in hand, casually dressed. No signs of panic, no urgency, Just a man walking into a house like he'd done it 100 times before. Even more damning, he didn't call 911 until nearly 10:30 p.m., over half an hour after the estimated time of death. Investigators were baffled. If it was an accident, why the delay? As detectives dug deeper, it became clear this wasn't a moment of passion or panic. It was premeditated. The question now wasn't just what happened, but why? And who else knew the truth? In her bedroom, detectives uncovered a hidden drawer beneath her nightstand. Inside was a second phone, a burner, one that no one knew about, not even Mark, allegedly. The phone contained months' worth of messages, hundreds of texts between her and Mark, many romantic, some desperate, and some deeply threatening. One message from Emily read, "You promised me she wouldn't get in the way. You lied." Another from Mark, "I'm doing the best I can. Don't push me." But most disturbing was a voice memo recorded 2 nights before her death. Emily's voice trembling. "If anything happens to me, it's him. He's not who you think he is." The audio was time-stamped and authenticated, and it flipped the case upside down. Meanwhile, forensic techs found a half-written email on Emily's laptop addressed to Sarah. It was never sent. "You were my best friend. I never meant for this to happen, but now he's scaring me. He said if I ruin his life, he'll ruin mine. I think he means it." With this new evidence, prosecutors believed they had enough for a conviction, but Mark's defense team pushed back hard. They claimed Sarah had motive, rage, opportunity, an internet search history that included, how long does gunpowder residue stay on skin? Can text be faked in court? Self-defense laws, North Carolina. The media went into a frenzy. Talk shows dissected every theory. Some pointed fingers at Sarah, saying heartbreak could make anyone snap. Others believed Mark was the true manipulator all along. But one thing was clear: someone had planned something, and someone was about to pay. Mark sat at the defendant's table, clean-shaven, wearing a navy suit. Across the aisle, Sarah sat in silence, expression unreadable. Emily's parents were there too, clutching tissues, their faces hardened with grief. The prosecution opened strong. They painted Mark as a narcissist who manipulated 2 women for years. When Emily became inconvenient, too emotional, too risky, he silenced her. They presented the burner phone texts, the threatening voice memo, the timeline, the delay in calling 911, the angle of the bullet fired from above, downward, suggesting Emily was sitting or on the floor. The defense countered that Emily had been emotionally unstable and suicidal. They argued that the gun went off during a struggle, citing minor bruises on Mark's forearms. They accused Sarah of being jealous and vengeful, even implying she may have framed Mark. Then came the turning point, a surprise witness, a bartender from a local pub. He testified that 2 nights before Emily's death, he overheard a heated conversation between Mark and Emily. He remembered Mark saying, "If you say anything to Sarah, you'll regret it." Combined with the audio memo and messages, the jury's view of Mark began to shift. Sarah took the stand on day 6. Her voice trembled, but she was steady. "I didn't kill Emily. I lost everything because of them. But I never wanted her dead. I just wanted the truth." After 7 days of testimony and 5 hours of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict: guilty. Mark Whitmore was sentenced to 35 years in prison for second-degree murder, with no chance of parole for 22 years. As he was led away in cuffs, he glanced at Sarah one last time. She didn't flinch. She didn't look back. Because for her, this wasn't justice. This was survival. And the emotional scars, those would never fade. Mark Whitmore wasn't a monster in the eyes of the world. He was a husband, a father, a businessman. Emily wasn't just a homewrecker. She was a woman who believed in promises that were never meant to be kept. And Sarah? She was collateral damage in a game she never asked to play. This story wasn't just about infidelity. It was about manipulation, obsession, and how far someone will go when their lies are at risk of being exposed. Love can inspire. It can heal. But when twisted by ego and control, it can destroy. One affair, one bullet, one life lost, and another locked away forever. The true tragedy? It all could have ended with honesty, with walking away, with accountability, but instead it ended in blood. Let this be a reminder. Secrets don't stay buried. Lies always leave a trail. And no matter how perfect something may look from the outside, behind closed doors, anything can happen. So choose your truths carefully and never underestimate what a broken heart or a guilty conscience can do. Because in the end, love didn't kill Emily, the silence did.